This week we're visiting the shop of Ed and Jake White. Let's get started.
Hey, welcome. I'm Ed.
I'm Jake.
Welcome to Magnolia Road Customs, as we'll call it for today. We do a little bit of everything in the shop here, from woodworking to metalwork, whatever the project may be. This primarily is where we do a lot of our woodworking stuff on the bench here. The radial arm saw. We got a chop saw. Our bandsaw over here. And then over to our table saw, which is covered with patterns at the moment for another job. As we go through, then we have the center base open. That's where we do a lot of our project work itself, the bigger stuff. And then into the far end, we have the car lift and stuff where Jake spends a lot of his time over there.
Over here we got the metalworking table. So we do all the welding and stuff. Kind of takes the abuse off the wood catching on fire. This is actually a bumper I'm working on right now off the patterns. Over here, this cart kind of floats around. These are the money makers. All you can in welding. We have a plasma cutter, AC, DC, TIG, and stick. DC, TIG, stick, and a MIG welder.
Big
and
version.
then a small MIG welder. Yeah, 110, and these are 110 and 220. So that's where we keep all our welding supplies and stuff like that. Keep it all there, all organized. Over here, we do a little bit of motor work. Like you said, we do a little bit of everything. So this is actually for a boat. He just got it in. That's going to be getting rebuilt, redone. We do literally everything here. Into this bay, we don't really keep too much stuff over here because we keep it open to work on the cars. We got our bench grinder, a couple jacks and stuff for working on the cars. It's actually a customer's car. Getting some brackets for a little C-channel bumper he made. We're getting them done up. Like you said, we got the lift, big Manitowoc 9,000-pound lift. We can fit trucks, cars, pretty much anything except for dualies. Lifts most of them. So.
And anything else we can get on it.
Yeah. This is my toolbox. We made this hutch here in the shop. Everything on the top is made from scratch here. Except for the pegboard. We just welded that in. This is all custom.
You don't have the lights on blink?
No. We got lights back there. They go to the music if you're feeling all groovy and whatnot. And then we got some,
yeah, it'll actually pulse to your...
some lighting for working. We're doing paperwork and filling out bills for customers or anything like that.
This is kind of our... This is one of the original workbenches from the shop. It's been through all the kids, actually, up to... It ended up over here. This is where we do all the heavy, the greasier stuff, the oily things of that nature that
as you can see,
could take a beating.
This is OSB, but it's now just oil.
It's basically it will never rot at all. It's permanent. Over here behind Jake, we got our press. We got this many years ago, and then this past year, Jake acquired the Aero over hydraulic jack, so we don't have to pump it. You put airline to it, and you squeeze it. It pumps it automatically. Small brake here Jake picked up. It was a kit. He welded the base and everything together. It depends what, ½ inch, Jake?
½ inch or 5/8, yeah.
½ inch to 5/8 steel. We've used it several times since he's gotten it, and it is a very handy little thing to do what we need it to do. It beats me trying to shove it in the log splitter, which I've been known to do, to bend stuff. So
here we keep all of our fluids over here for cars and stuff. We always got customer projects, and customers never tell you what you need, so you actually have to keep a stock of like everything.
That
we got
up here,
coolant and everything,
carb cleaners,
stuff like that.
oils and things.
Yep. Up here we have some more of Mr. Ed Shed's creations. Some
my project motor.
Little motor that'll, who knows, that'll probably run a blender one day.
It's supposed to go in a boat. It's supposed to go in a remote control boat is the plan. It actually runs. It's a little 4-stroke. This was my original toolbox. I can't tell you how old this is because it's probably 15 years, 16 years, which really isn't that old, but for me it was.
That's where we keep the mechanic tools, but all the woodworking tools and stuff are just spread throughout.
Yeah, most of it's over that side. And then we put this, when I built the shop back in '07, I put a loft in just for storage space. And we always had a ladder. You had to get a ladder and go up, and it was just a pain. So I acquired a set of them rolling stairs. We can see tucked behind the wood stove here. And we cut the wheels off and bolted them in place. So now we use it more ample for storage of some supplies and stuff that we can put up there when we want. We have easier access. We have the wood stove, which is just, I can't see a shop without having a wood stove. It's cheaper to run and keeps us nice and warm in here in the summertime, or wintertime rather, not the summertime.
It is quite nice to have, but you have to watch burning bumpers off of cars when you pull them in here in the winter.
Yeah, it's too big. My
motorhome,
the motorhome comes about 18 inches from it, so you can't have a fire if you got the motorhome in here, or you're going to need a new grill.
Here's a death trap blower. I think it's rated to consume small children. And if you touch any of the bare metal, you might get electrocuted.
No, I fixed that. It had a bare wire.
Okay.
This was one of Jake's welding projects I gave him 2 years ago. Was the blower came out of a heater I scrapped, and we use it a lot for the dust and things in the shop. It's a 3-speed, but it's wired to do 2 speeds. You put that thing in the door and turn it on, and it cleans your shop out in about 5 minutes. It's clear air.
This and a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and you could probably reenact the Wright brothers. It does move some air.
It moves some air.
We got some more storage over here. We just keep this whole thing from about here to here is a junk drawer for the most part. We got a lot of our wire and stuff. We do everything.
Top 2
This
electrical.
is mostly Ed Shed stuff over here. I don't do too much with house wiring, but
Jake doesn't like the electrical side too much.
all the electrical stuff we have.
Electrical, plumbing.
Plumbing fittings, all
There's
goes
some
in there.
caulk and stuff in there. The heater, it's an oil-fired heater. We burn diesel in it. It's just easy to pick up and burn. I used to have a big tank out back. I never filled the thing up all the way. Got an idea from the used oil burner ones. We got a gas tank out of a CJ5. I bought it off of eBay. And my son Ed, he welded up that red frame to sit on over it, and then the tank sits on top. If we do run out of fuel, we got a fuel ball from an outboard motor. You just pump it up, 3 primer, and then it fires up. It's hooked to a thermostat and everything. We keep the heat on in the winter here, like 45 degrees roughly, when we're not in here so our chemicals don't freeze. Got tired of buying every spring. Everything is all frozen, so we had to start all over again.
Over here, this is
Jake's disaster.
Yeah, so this was my original workbench from when I was a kid, and now it's just like overflow of storage. We've had so many projects. We both end up with so many extra parts, and that's pretty much what's there. This is one of our inventions actually from this summer. So this is a welding positioner. When you're doing fabrication stuff, making big bumpers, you have all those different angles to weld, and if you know about welding, you want to make them nice and flat as possible to make it easy, and that's what this does. You have your adjustments here, so you can spin this, and then you have pins to do the angle, as well as the height, and it actually all pops apart. This base comes off for storage. It's just in here right now because we have been working on some bumpers.
Then over here on this table, real quick, we'll show that I picked up a spiral staircase for the house off Craigslist for I think $75 out of South Jersey. It was a 4-foot staircase. I needed a 5-foot staircase. So we extended all the treads on it, turned it into a 5-foot, put all new balusters, stainless steel railings. This is the upper post that's going to bolt onto the landing, and the stainless steel cables will go through these holes. And then what we do, so I made it so that every one is the same. I made a pattern where every hole goes. This was placed on each one and drilled so that all 10 balusters going up, the bottom post and this post will all match. If we get a minute, we'll shoot a picture of that inside. I still need to do the handrail on the top. I'm going to try to buy one because it'll be easier than me bending it, but I have an idea for a challenge that I can bend what I want. But we'll see. If the numbers are right, I'll buy it. If they're wrong, I'll be bending some 3-inch oval tubing in a 8-foot spiral, 8 foot tall, 5 feet round.
Beverages?
You got to have a place for the beverages, of course.
This is probably the most important fixture in the shop.
A lot of times if we do small jobs for people and they'll tell us, what do we owe you? It's usually a case of beer. So during the summer, we keep it pretty full.
Over here, this is one of his creations, or not creations, it was repurposed.
It's repurposed, yes.
We like repurposing things around here. It adds a little bit of character. So this is a transfer switch from a generator, and we actually keep all of our paint, and even so I want to open up all the way. We got
Yeah, the computer.
We got some stain, some paint in here. It just kind of looks cool. And then the whole shop is actually wired with speakers. So we have our radio down here and some possibly questionable wiring because this is 12 volts and the shop's, obviously 110. So we have a jump pack that's constantly charging and running the radio. But this and our speakers gives us some tunes to work to.
If we take we'll take a little walk outside, show some of our other projects through the years. This gas pump here we actually got, I forget how many years ago now. It didn't work. The gas station was being torn down, so we got it, we stripped it, and redid it. It's strictly decoration, but it was kind of cool. Same with the soda machine. I picked it up. This actually does work, and I wired it so there's a switch inside that you push. You don't have to put any money in it, and it will give you soda. But we don't tell people that. This trailer here, back in, I believe I found receipts, it was 2003. I built this to haul stone. I used to haul stone with my cousin. And we built this along with Eddie helping me out. Eddie's friend, Jake, even did a little bit on it at the time. It used to have a beaver tail right here. It used to tilt down. Had a lot of issues with that, so this summer I cut it off and we made it straight. But it'll hold about 10,000 pounds easily. The axles on it were out of a horse trailer. I bent the first 2 sets. So now we have 7,000 pound axles and we haven't bent them yet. So we're doing good. On top, you'll see some steel. Well, this is for, one stack is for me, one stack is for Jake. I picked up 2 bodies, truck bodies. We're going to turn them into like utilitarian type thing. Jake's going to make a welding rig out of his. Mine's going to be like a contractor style body. But this will be the channel, the frame that we use to build the channel and everything. And the axles will be mounted onto this if the weather cooperates with us this year. This project here, Carl's kind of familiar with this one. This is my other business I do on the side with Ed Shed Catering. The ironic part is the whole unit sits on a 27-foot camper frame that I was going to the scrapyard to drop metal off. I ended up dropping off my metal, and in trade, I got a camper frame. Then I went to Delaware. This is the box off of a Ford Cube van. Brought it back. We cut the sides out, made wheel wells, turned it into a full kitchen inside. This diamond plate, believe it or not, this is 3 truck toolboxes that we literally just cut up and bent and repurposed to make our mud flaps, our steps, and our skirting and everything. But it is a full function kitchen inside. Smoker on the back. We built this in 04, did our first gig in 05. So it doesn't really owe me anything at this point. It's actually, I love doing it. Unfortunately, COVID's kind of put it on the back burner. In case anybody catches this in the video, we'll bring it up now. We're not anti-government people or anything like that. This was another one of Jake's project. He's took up shooting this year, which I'm glad he does, but he needed to build a target, especially for the crazy-ass gun that he bought. So that's what this was. It was designed. It will plink and move, but always return in an upright position, so you don't have to go reset the target.
It's a little haphazard.
It's haphazard, and of course, he got bigger guns to blow holes through steel like that. So it's getting its dates. It might end up going to the scrapyard. So it was actually an old light tower if anybody recognizes this part, it had 2 halogen work lights. I was going to throw it in the trash, and this is what we did with it.
This is our jet boat. This was one of our most recent, like, big projects, I guess you could say. It's got quite a few views on YouTube now. We posted it. People love the series. It's the most basic jet boat you can get. It's a 12-foot John boat and a 657 Bombarder. It's a Rotax motor here. It's been sitting outside for a while, so it's got some leaves, but basically, me and my dad cut the bottom out and then cut the bottom out of the jet ski and just stuck them together. There's really no better way to put it. It does about 40 miles an hour. It still needs a lot of work, but we're getting there.
This was the other haul. When we bought the ski, we got 2 jet skis. It turned out the second one did run, so we decided we're going to build 2 boats. This is what's left of a jet ski after we cut it up. This is the piece, the motor mounts here, shaft goes in, pump mounts here. This is what is mounted in the bottom of that boat, bolted in through the flat spots. And then we faired this with welding and some filler, some bodies, some sealant. And like Jake said, we had it out this year. It's got some bugs we got to work out. We're going to build a deck on the front. But we were doing 45 in it, and we couldn't keep it in the water. We think it will go faster if we can keep it to stay in the water, but it started hopping too much. But
yeah, so
it was a load of fun.
This will get done eventually. We have a lot of projects around here. I'm sure you guys can tell. So one day that'll get done. It needs a lot of finishing work. This apparatus will get replaced with something a little more legitimate. But for now, this does actually work to drive the boat.
We had to put it like this so we could get the balance of the boat correct. Had we mounted everything permanent and find out that it's 6 inches back too far or 6 inches ahead too far. This allowed us to play with that while we had it out that day.
So it's a working prototype.
Yeah,
yes.
Basically. Basically.
A couple old gentlemen, we were pulling it out of the water, came down, and we were joking with him. He goes, "That's no Briggs and Stratton in that boat." I said, "No, it's not."
The one guy say America.
That's the guy that says,
America right
"That's
there."
America right there." So, if you shine out in the field here in the back, that's one of the truck bodies that I picked up. I won't mention that it was free. I've already sold the stuff that was inside, so I made money off it. That's going to become a utility trailer. There's another one out front that's very similar. That's going to be Jake's welding trailer, so he can do mobile welding. That's all fiberglass. That's pretty much, I think, it. Other than our dinosaur of a Bobcat over there, the workhorse of the property.
That was White Mountain?
I bought that for White Mountain Stone when I was doing the stone. It's a hell of a machine. Doesn't owe me a dime. And I just can't bring myself to sell it because when we need it, it is very nice to have, you know, as far as what it can do with the with its ability.
How old is it?
This is a 94. In front of it is this nice Mustang, which I'll let Jake explain that. This is
probably one of my biggest projects. It still looks pretty terrible. It's a 2010 Mustang. I built it up from a bare shell. It was rolled over. So it has a new roof, some new glass. The inside, it's a race car, so it's bare minimum. We got the roll cage. We did all that. We didn't bend the tubes, but I did weld them all in. The dash is all custom. Everything in there is basically from scratch. Aluminum. This is all aluminum wrapped in leather. All the wiring is custom. Even our gauges, they say MRC, and we got a little American flag. But this is probably one of the biggest projects we've done.
When he says it was a shell, it literally was. It was a metal shell with, it only had 3 tires on it, right?
Yeah.
One was broke off from the rollover.
Yeah, so it was rolled over, but we brought it back to life. It's still, that's a work in progress. It needs the outside to be done now, but the inside, we did all the fabrication work from literally the ground up, all the wiring.
He races it up at Club Loose here. We'll even put a throw in for them.
Yeah, we do drifting up there when it's warm out.
His first drift car was sponsored by Ed Shed. It had a big, nice logo on it. Now he's arguing about putting one on this. So. Even though I think it would make the car go faster, but I mean, it's just, they say stickers add speed.
I think that's about it.
Watching. If you like this and want to see more videos like it, please consider subscribing. Also, check out Jake's channel listed in the description below.